charcuterie and honey go hand in hand. It's like, and then wine again goes hand in hand with that. So it's just like a whole little puzzle of this just deliciousness.
See, my favorite thing about conversations like this is we always have to get into food somehow. A large majority of our conversations are wine based, and so it's with winemakers and chefs. And the fact that just like if you go to a wine tasting and you might taste 10 or 20 bottles, all from Oregon or all from Finger Lakes or all these different regions. But just in case either of you were into wine, have you tried any wine pairings at all? And do any of these honeys work better with any specific kinds of varietals of wine, or do you see a wine correlation there?
So I'm not. I'll let Monica take the main stage of the answer, but I like to say I'm not like that huge into the intricacies of wine, but it's one of those things where I do enjoy wine. Um, and I enjoy trying different wines, but as far as the specifics of it, I'm not the guy to ask. But one of the best ways I do like to enjoy the wine with honey in general is charcuterie. So I'll pair it. I'll have maybe a specific glass of wine, a different kind of red, a different kind of white wine, and then I'll just have different spreads of either meats, fruits, cheeses, whatever you may see on a charcuterie board. And then I'll just kind of go down that line of trying each of those pairings with each of those honeys and then taking a sip of wine after. And then I'm like, okay, this one, it's just very interesting to see like how different each one can get. It's like the same bottle of wine, it's like the same glass of wine, but with a different honey gives you a completely different experience. But what do you say about that?
So I'll say this again: charcuterie and honey go hand in hand. It's like, and then wine again goes hand in hand with that. So it's just like a whole little puzzle of this just deliciousness. Um, so I find that maybe like a Merlot for me, I enjoy that with because it's less sweet, of course, and I like the mixed ones a little bit more than just like a Chardonnay or something. I'm not a big Chardonnay fan at all. I like something a little sweeter, but I find that if I'm consuming something that the honey is a part of, I can't have like a sweet wine and then the honey is too much. So I find something not necessarily dry, but a little bit closer to dry works well. I've also found that again, what you're starting to see more and more, um, kind of becoming more popular are meads. So mead is wine essentially made with the foundation of honey versus grapes. So you're starting to see meads pop up and at your local wine store, um, your beer to go, where you have the more and more of the craft beers. There are a lot of brewers that are starting to kind of play with mead. So you'll find mead in all different varietals, some that very much taste like wine and some that taste closer to beer. But, and then meads are traditionally sweet because again, you've got that foundation of the honey um, versus the grape. But there again, people are kind of playing to the palate of a little bit of everybody. So we're not necessarily pairing the wine so much with the honey as helping the person that's hosting the event, creating that perfect board, that perfect accompaniment to it. So something like our wild foam honey, which is a very interesting, unique honey. It actually comes from Seattle, Washington. It's the ingredients do. It's a combination of a wildflower from that region and a plant called meadow foam. Meadow foam grows infrequently, and it kind of grows more in that region. Um, but the taste of it, the profile of it, is very much like vanilla and like roasted marshmallow, which you kind of get from it. So it's very interesting as a surprise addition to someone's charcuterie board. When you're adding it with pears or apples, especially this time of year. It's amazing drizzled on top of brie or on goat cheese. I find that people are making like little on their boards or adding little bowls of different specialty things. It's one of the things that's being added in there that pairs very nicely. So within, again, you're hosting your event, you're having your interesting wines, you're having the interesting charcuterie board, and then you're having the specialty honeys that are there. Mocktails, we're talking about the wine, but also the mocktails are becoming super, super important to anybody's event that they're hosting, making sure that there's a alternative. So it's just not like this amazing, delicious wines, wonderful mixed drinks, and then you've got soda or a juice just for the people that don't drink. People are starting to purposely think about unique drinks that don't necessarily involve alcohol. Again, we're getting back to the health and wellness and figuring out how to have fun and consume things that aren't necessarily toxic to us in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
So minimizing all of those things and replacing them with something, an alternative, is always kind of interesting. And I just find that I've got people, again, we're having more and more conversations to kind of go down that route.
So, Monica, Alex, what's the best way to learn more about you? Website, social media, how can we follow you more? And of course, how can we buy your products?
I'll start. Definitely the website is the easiest way to contact us. We're actually in the process of making some updates. So very shortly, there's going to be some expansion of what you're seeing there. So not only will we have the amazing honeys, we also are going to be featuring wellness teas. So there'll be an entire variety of loose teas. So the website, again, gives you lots of good content, lots of information, lots of things to share. Within the website, there is a contact us area and a tab. And then in addition to that, there is an Instagram page. On our Instagram page, it actually has some of the reels that our friends that are chefs or foodies have kind of created on our behalf or for us. We always tell people when they take something and they're wanting to explore something at home, we're like, well, you know what? Tag us. Let us see what you did. Give us some feedback as to how it was. Let us see your experience. So we've got lots of content that's on the Instagram page where people have tagged us. Let us know. So those are all the ways really to kind of get in contact with us.